Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is great to see everybody here. And we're going to get started with Hine Matov on page 128, 128. Welcome in Shabbat that way. We'll have a few eases into the service, and then we'll be on our way. Page 128. Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. And now, I'd like to invite up our President Joy Schultz to share with us some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I am Joy Schultz, and as the rabbi said, I'm the president for now of the synagogue. And on behalf of the Bethel Board of Trustees, I'd like to welcome you to our Shabbat service. If you're new, I'm looking around. If you're new or visiting, please introduce yourself to me or to Rabbi Dime at the end of the service so we can give you a real warm welcome, and we're delighted that you're here. Please save the date for our annual congregational meeting on Sunday morning, June 8th from 9:45 to 12, and check the bulletin for more upcoming events. All details and RSVP links can be found on our Tuesday e-blast. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
And so now we look back in our service to pages 120 and 123. I'd like to invite up to lead us in lighting the candles and the saying of the Kiddush, Sharon Ruiz and Jackie Gorelick, in honor of, Sharon's husband and father-in-law. Page 120. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. And page 123. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei puri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'achata v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon הנחלתנו Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. And now let us turn to page 142, 142, for Shalom Aleichem. We invoke here the angels of Shabbat, that they come to dwell with us, they spend time with us, and that they depart in peace after Shabbat is over. But we are going to invite these angels to stay with us as long as angelically possible, that we have a long and enjoyable Shabbat. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hamlav, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And now we turn to page 146, 146, our call to worship. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. You may be seated. We turn to page 148, 148, for the Ma'ariv Aravim. Please join with me in the English. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMa'ariv Aravim. And now we turn to page 150, 150, for Ahavat Olam. Please join with me in the English. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And now, channeling that love, I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing the creed of our people, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. You may be seated. We turn to page 154, 154, for the Ve'ahavta. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet. And now we turn to page 159, 159. And I will join you there in one sec. Page 159. Sing the song of people, joined in understanding and respect. The song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. And now we look back to page 158 for Micha Mocha. And I know that we've just had Passover, but you can't let all that energy go so quickly. So I'm counting on there still being some post-Passover energy in your systems for this Micha Mocha. Micha Mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha neder b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osef eleh, Nora tehilot osef eleh. Malechutecha rahu v'anecha, Bukei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. And now we turn to page 160, 160, for the Hashkivenu. And in this, we ask for God to help us to build a Sukkot Shlomecha, like our Sukkah out there, a shelter of peace, but one that we can carry with us all throughout Shabbat, to shelter us from all that we have been dealing with during the week past. There is, for many of us, so much stress and hectic activity and just whatever has been bothering us. So I hope for us that this Hashkivenu can help us to build that Sukkot Shlomecha, a shelter of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu lechaim. And now we turn to page 162, 162 for V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Now we turn to page 164 for the tefillah portion of our service, the Amidah. I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני חיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. You may be seated. We turn to page 175. 175. Together at the bottom of the page. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, When anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadcha b'yirah na'avod. And now we turn to page 177. Please join with me at the bottom of the page. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ucha na'eh lehodot. And now we turn to page 178, because for all that God gave us, for all of our wonderful things in our lives, for all that we can be grateful for, we are still praying for peace. Page 178. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'b'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. And now that we have prayed for peace, our thoughts turn to those who are in need of healing, whether it is healing of mind or of body or of spirit. The congregation is thinking for healing of Pearl Levin, Carol Friedman, Carol Wallace, Carol Solomon, June Van, Rabbi Michael Matchison, Sherry Chait, Larry Michalov, Antoinette Worrell, Linda Chambliss, Judge Frank Caprio, Fran Marcus, Howard Silvers, Paige Hedrick, Kathy Weiner, Rob Moreland, Ben Beltran, Jeff Mayer, Linda Margolis, Sadie Charlotte Schwartz, Dean Fiandaca, Arthur Aglico, Rose Aglico, Carolyn Boyles, David Charles, Ken Friedman, Don D'Amelia, Jackie Gould, Michael Bierman, Nancy Rubenstein, Rita Friedman, Leonard Reed, and Scott Silvers, and all Israelis still being held hostage, all Israeli soldiers injured in war, and all civilians injured in any war. If there's anyone here that has the name of someone that you are praying for healing, that you would like to share with the congregation, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. Please. We hold all their names together as a community invite you to turn to page 371, and to rise in body or spirit for the Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. May those who will not be healed on this earth be blessed with nights free from suffering and days filled with peace. May God grant strength and comfort to those who care for the sick. May God help us to find hope and courage as we face fear and loss. May all who are ill be surrounded by the love of friends, loving companions, family, and community. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. I now invite you to take a few moments for silent meditation for the prayers of your heart. Ose shalom bimroma, Ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Well, Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. All right, we still have some good energy at the end of a long week. That's good to hear. During my days at University of Michigan, I spent a lot of time in that Hillel. As a Jewish college student who didn't know yet that I was going to become a rabbi, apparently I was still drawn to the Jewish community. And most of the time that I was there, it was a good time at Hillel. It was time of singing a cappella group. I was a bass or a baritone. But anyway, I sang the bass part, and there was a lot of harmony, because being in an a cappella group, we're striving for harmony. However, there were some times at University of Michigan Hillel where there was some discord. One of those moments of discord was a random day. I was working in the office with another student, Sarah, and there was a guy from the Orthodox Minyan who came in, and said that they needed another person to form the minyan for this service they were having, sort of impromptu service. And I looked over to Abe, the guy, and I looked over to Sarah, and I turned back to Abe and I said, well, are you going to count Sarah in the minyan as well? And he said, well, no. And I said, then in that case, at this time, I'm going to continue my meeting with Sarah. And he went off to wait for somebody else. And in part, I did that because I knew that it was going to be okay, that we had plenty of people coming into the U of M Hello all the time, and he wasn't going to be waiting that long. But I did it because also it was something that it's part of my Jewish values that women should count just as much as men in a minyan. And so I bring that to you because that was a time in my life when I was able to take a stand on my Jewish values. It was a tough thing to do in the moment. It still resonates today as something that I did that was something that was different than somebody else believed. But it was important for me in that moment to take that stand. I bring it to you now because we all have a chance to do this, to take a stand for our Jewish values. Because this is the last weekend of the World Zionist Congress's voting that they're putting out to the whole Jewish community, the whole world, Am Yisrael, all of the world's Jews get a chance to vote in this election. And we will be voting as Americans, and it will lead to our American representation as part of the World Zionist Congress. And so voting closes Saturday night. We'll talk more about what it is, what the World Zionist Congress is, and just put it in your brains that as soon as you can, as soon as Shabbat's over, go and vote. Because the World Zionist Congress was created in 1897 by Theodore Herzl. And it gives, every 5 years, it gives a chance for all the world's Jewry to weigh in on some international Jewish questions, international Jewish dilemmas that are coming before the group. Now, it's not just about allocating funds. There's stuff that affects the whole world, affects all of the world's Jewry. And so we, outside of Israel, have a chance to influence the whole world, what happens to all the world's Jews. Not just internal Israeli stuff, but world Jewry stuff. And it brings me to this Torah portion. This week's Torah portion is a double portion, Tazria Metzora. And one of the things that it talks about is people that come down with an illness. And because that illness is contagious, they're asked to hang out outside of camp until they get better. And once they get better, the priest does a ritual of purification, and they're brought back into the camp. They're brought back to their daily lives. And what we learn from this is that the rights of the individual, while very important, are secondary to the health of the whole community, secondary to the whole of the Jewish people. And so for us to take out some time, even though we may not feel like this is going to directly affect us, and vote for the group within the organization, and this is where going and looking at the slates comes in handy, going onto the site and research and see which slate best represents your values. Going and voting is going to be good for the whole of the Jewish people. So the whole of the Jewish people, the whole of the Jewish world, Am Yisrael, it's our chance from outside the state of Israel to vote on things that affect not only us, but Jews all over the world, including some of the things that go into influencing and supporting different causes within the state of Israel. We can help decide where funds go, what gets prioritized, and what kind of a Jewish future we're building for the next generation. You have to be 18. So sorry, some of the guys that are in here. You can't vote, but the rest of us, it is on the rest of us to go vote. There's a beautiful teaching from our tradition. Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh B'Zeh. All of Israel is responsible one for another. We are responsible to future generations to teach them about Judaism and tell the Passover story, which we just did. We, as world Jews, are able to actually celebrate the state of Israel's Jewish holidays, which include Yom HaShoah, that's an international holiday, Day of Holocaust Remembrance, which we did here at Bethel. And we also observed within the community Yom HaZikaron, the day of Jewish remembrance of the fallen soldiers of the State of Israel and those victims of terror. And Yom HaAtzmaut, which we also just celebrated this past week, observed this last week, is Independence Day. And looking forward another couple days, we're having a community-wide celebration for Yom HaAtzmaut at the temple at Ahavat Chesed in Jacksonville, this Sunday. So I encourage all of you to go. It promises to be a lot of fun. I will be stopping by. So all of these different holidays that we can be a part of as Jews all over the world, whether we're in New York City or LA, London or Berlin, Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, Jacksonville or Ponte Vedra Beach, we are able, as part of one soul, one body, one people, to impact decisions that are made that affect all of us. So please, take action, vote, go to the American Zionist Movement website or use the link that was there in our e-blast, read about the slates, choose the one that best reflects your values, and take a stand and vote as part of the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom. And so now, in line with all the holidays we've been celebrating, I invite you to turn to page 678, and to rise in body or spirit for Hatikva, Israel's national anthem. 678. Kol od balevav pnima, nefesh Yehudi homiya, ufate mizrach kadima, ayin letzion tzofia, Olo avda tikvatenu, hatikva bat shnot alpayim, liotam chofshi be'atzenu, Eretz Tzion v'Yerushalayim, liotam chofshi be'atzenu, Eretz Tzion v'Yerushalayim. I invite you to remain standing in body or spirit as we turn to the Aleinu on page 586. 586. At the bottom of the page, 586. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, page 588, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, page 591, ונאמר, והיה אדוני לכל כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. And now we turn to page 596. I'd like to invite up Joy Schultz to come and read a reading in honor of her father.
This is in honor of my dad, who passed away 13 years ago. He was one of the very first founding members of the synagogue. When cherished ties are broken and the chain of love is shattered, only trust and the strength of faith can lighten the heaviness of the heart. At times, the pain of separation seems more than we can bear, but if we dwell too long on our loss, we embitter our hearts and harm ourselves for those about us. The psalmist said that in his affliction he learned the law of God, and in truth, grief is a great teacher. When it sends us back to serve the bless the living, we learn how to counsel and comfort those who, like ourselves, are bowed with sorrow. We learn when to keep silent in their presence, and when a word will assure them of our love and concern. Thus, even when they are gone, the departed are with us, moving us to live as, in their higher moments, they themselves wish to live. We remember them now. They live in our hearts. They are an abiding blessing.
The congregation is remembering those whom we have lost. Remembering those who we have lost within the last year. David Dunn, Barry Schoenfeld, Milton Margolis, David Shaknovsky, David Friedman, David Cohen, Mike Hyman, Alice Macaulay Schumer, Carol Mandel, Helen Gerber, Jerry Chait, Shirley Mendelson, Bryce Rutan, Eliezer Ben Yehuda, and Jim DeArmond. And we're remembering those whom we have lost at this time in years past. Maurice Belkin, Gregory Wayne Berger, Ben Brenner, Claire Cantor, Gerald Cauliflower, Dorothy Firsty, Bernice Froman, Nedra Harkavy, David Lipson, Roberto Ruiz Ruvain Ben Ruvain, and his father, Roberto Ruiz, Emmanuel Jurgen, and Phyllis Zuckerman. If there's anyone else here that has a name of someone that you would like to share with the community that you have lost, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. I invite you to turn to page 598, 598, and to rise in body or spirit, keeping all of their memories with us as we recite the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayachon uve'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ulalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma. v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. May the one who makes peace on high bring comfort to all who are bereaved. And let us say, amen. You may be seated. Let's turn to page 626, 626 for Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Micheloheinu, Michadonenu, Michemalkeinu, Michemoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. And now we turn back to page 603, 603, where it is my honor and pleasure to be able to sing the priestly benediction over all of you. So I invite you to rise in body or spirit. Page 603. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom, shalom, shalom. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.